Hello and welcome to Skills to Pay the Bills and today's segment of The Real Secrets of Money. Please welcome our co-host, Ms. Shirley Luu, Executive Field Chairman, First Financial Security, and also our special guest, Ms. Dorthy Queen Smith. Shirley and Dorothy will be educating us on the basics of the new type of term life insurance with living benefits. We will also discuss some cost-effective advantages of owning an index universal life product. Finally, if we have enough time left, we want to highlight the upcoming Super Saturday, an exciting event that will be taking place in Silver Spring, Maryland on April 27th at the Sheraton Hotel. So, let's get started. Hello, Shirley. How are you?
Hello, Tia. Thank you for having me.
Good to have you again. It's always fun when you're here. And Miss Dorothy, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Listen, I have got to ask you this question before we get started. How did you get the nickname of Queen?
Oh, wow. You know, it's amazing. It started a long time ago. It's part of being strong and assertive, but still ladylike.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's nice.
Well, I like that. That's very nice.
Thank you.
Well, let's get right into our subject matter. But Shirley, I think what I'd like to do is just have you briefly tell people a little bit about your role as Executive Field Chairman and specifically what and who is the Luu dynasty? Tell us about that.
Yeah, we call ourselves the Luu dynasty is because the Luu dynasty, why do we want to name that? It's because we want to change the future. We want to leave a legacy. We want to leave remembrance. And not just a legacy, but we want for people to remember who we are as well. At First Financial Security, we operate in 50 states. And the nice thing about us is that we go out and we just really, really want to reach out to every single American folks out there, how to safeguard the money from losses, have the upside gain with a guaranteed lifetime income, whether it's retirement or whether it's life, because that's important. You know, it's their money, and I don't know many people are talking about it, and so we are. We do a lot of financial literacy, and that's all we do. We can only teach folks.
Right.
Yeah.
But you know, well, Shirley, I know you must have at least 2,000 agents under your. You know, she's just a great and a dynamic teacher, and that brings me to my question with Dorothy, because this is one of your maybe newest agent, and she's one of your new agents, and I want to hear what made her decide to come with you.
Well, not only she's new, she is fantastic. I have leaders comes a different way, different times, and she came to me by accident, really. She came for me from a client that I've been trying to get for a long, long time, and I think she was just sending Queen to me to just check it out. You're not really taking the business seriously, but Queen has a vision. She's very smart, very business savvy. She says what she does, and she's so efficient in the way she does. So I'll let her tell a little bit about why she joined.
Well, you know, first of all, I have 25 plus years of customer service experience, sales experience, and I'm a visionary. And I've always said, you know, life insurance should do a little bit more than just bury people. I understand the dynamic of leaving wealth for your children, but it's so, you know, amazing to be able to benefit while you're living. When I heard about the program, it was unbelievable. You know, I was excited, and it's something that I believe in and I can represent.
Wow, well said. Thank you for that. Now, let's get right into this business about term insurance, because term insurance has been around forever, for as long as I can remember. But in the last couple of years, it seems like it's taken a turn. I mean, about a year and a half ago, I heard about, maybe not even a year and a half, maybe just about a year ago, I heard about this return on premium with term insurance. Now I'm hearing about living benefits, and that's almost unheard of. So can you just talk about that a little bit?
Sure. Believe it or not, a traditional term, most folks out there, what do? They go to work, and I pay cheap $10, $15 term insurance to my work because my work provides that, company pays for it, and then I could also at the same time pay extra to get extra benefit, death benefit. But those kind of term, really, you got to die and somebody else benefit.
That's true.
I would say most term out there are like that today. The industry has changed. So what if we can come out with a term policy? Let's just talk about the living benefits term. The living benefit terms is this. So for the same $20 that you're paying for your company, you know, for that $100,000 or $200,000 death benefit, what if you could use that money while you're alive and not unless you have to die, you know? And that's what's really important. And gosh, you know, Tia, I sit there and I do financial literacy and in front of hundreds and hundreds of people. And you know, the funny thing is less than 5% of the entire room looked at me like, are you from another planet?
Right.
Because the new term nowadays, if you happen to drive a car and somebody hits you, you get hurt really bad, well, guess what? This term could become long-term care.
Really?
Yeah, and then, you know, and what if, you know, you and I are pretty healthy, knock on wood, okay, but.
At my age.
Right, but what if, in a situation, I suddenly have a heart attack or stroke, it's gonna happen to us, I believe, before death. Does that make sense? So while I'm alive, I wanna have protection, and if I did get into a heart attack or stroke, where I'm not dead, I'm just kind of disabled, well, this policy can pay me an income monthly. Now,
really?
Yeah, now think about that. Fine, you know, if folks out there hear me talk about this and said, hey, you know what, I'm happy with my term, that's their choice. Yeah. But there are better things where you just got to reposition your money of that term to give you more advantageous product. I mean, it can accelerate it if you got cancer right now, 2 years to live, you know. So the uniqueness of that policy itself, that's one of the pieces of financial planning that we do.
Wow. So are there 2 living benefits with that, or 3, or how is it long-term care?
Accelerated.
So that is 3. Yeah. That, and so would a person, let's say I have a term policy, and it's just a regular term policy, and I want to get what you're talking about with the living benefits. Do I have to surrender or cancel that policy and get a new policy, or can I roll it over, as they say, or can I, you know, how could I do that? How could I make a change?
Well, usually with life insurance policy, you got to get approved. So first, foremost, no client should cancel any policy until you get approval with the new policy.
Okay. That's good advice.
So they'll have to go through a medical underwriting, and if you do qualify, then therefore, because term has no cash value already and it wasn't a permanent anyway, so there's really not much of a rollover that you can really do, unlike a whole life policy where you've got cash value you can do.
Well, this next question kind of goes to Dorothy. You know, when I would have insurance professionals come to my house and we'd sit down over coffee or whatever, and they're telling me all about the different products. And almost in every case, I would ask them if they had the product, and then they would look at me like I was crazy, which let me know that they didn't have the product. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about agents that are, you know, out providing information and education about products, and then they don't own the product? How do you feel about that as a new agent?
First of all, I don't see how you could possibly do justice to the product if you have not experienced it yourself. And personally, I will not offer anything that I don't believe in, and I will not offer anything that I don't participate in. So, you know, there's a sense of truth that comes behind it when you're sitting down with the person because you know firsthand the benefit.
Yeah, you know, to add what she said today, it was a true story today. I was in the office, one of my agent, his name is Andy Dang, give him a little plug.
Hi, Andy.
Andy was showing a client some of the product, and then the client asked the question, do you have this? And guess what? I was so proud of Andy. He whipped open his binder, and he plastic covered it, the sheet, the past 3-year statement, and said, look, year 1, year 2, and year 3. And I was like, Andy, I mean, the client just said, okay. You know, and to me, that was really, I mean, icing on the cake was today. We just sweet.
Oh, wow. That means Andy deserves a promotion. So Shirley, do you have any examples of, you know, what happens when somebody's policy is terminated? I mean, do you have examples of where someone was healthy one day and the next they weren't, and they needed that money, and maybe they didn't expire, maybe they got better, but they needed.
Well, that's the gotcha with term insurance, because term insurance, a lot of folks, you know, start paying for it, and to be honest with you, term insurance gets paid out less than 1%. Even though I talk about it, highly recommend term so much, you know, but why is because here's the deal. You work for a company, it goes up every single year. It's not a lock-in rate. You know, that's what
they don't own
right.
they don't own
they're
that.
not, right.
They don't own that.
And what if you were working for that company for like 10 years and then you suddenly found a better job, you're going to move on, guess what? At that time, your term ended. Your term insurance ended.
Right.
And if the new company don't have a group plan for term insurance offer, you're up the creek, you know. And then, well, what if you are pretty healthy today and you left the company and then suddenly you want to get a permanent insurance or even another term insurance, then you develop some kind of cancer. Right. You know, I've seen people think they're invincible. I've seen, you know, a 12-year-old got cancer today, you know, a friend of mine, the daughter's dying, and there's nothing the doctor could do. You know,
right.
no one is safe from what's to be expected when it comes to health and things like that. So term is not a permanent thing. If people out there have it, you guys, I would, if you qualify, I would serious consider. And the other problem is that when it gets to a certain age, term could be so outrageous that you can't afford to pay.
That's true.
So then you get rid of it. And now your family has nothing.
So in other words, if I've had term insurance and let's say I'm now 68 years old, that contract is probably running out, or in order for me to get more insurance, I have to qualify for it at my new age?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
And it wasn't only that, a lot of government term policy and companies sometimes have decreasing term. And most employees don't even know it. They said, oh, I have $400,000. But guess what, bud? When you reach a certain age, that goes down, and by the time you're dead, you barely have $4,000 or $5,000, enough to even bury you.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Shirley, how can our viewers get in contact with you?
Sure, they could contact me at Shirley Luu, and my phone number is 703-608-1203, or they can reach me by my email, Luu, L-U-U, Shirley@gmail.com.
Very good. Well, it's time for a short station break. We will be right back after these special announcements with co-host Shirley Luu and special guest Miss Dorothy Smith. So, don't touch that dial.
Hello, and welcome to Skills to Pay the Bills and our segment of The Real Secrets of Money. I have a very special announcement. Super Saturday is nearly here. Learn how to retire early, protect your family's finances, and build tremendous wealth. Join our host, Shirley Luu, as she shares the real secrets of money. So attend Super Saturday on April 27th, 2013 from 9 a.m. to 12 noon at the Sheraton Hotel located at 8777 Georgia Avenue in Silver Spring, Maryland. For additional information, please call 732-742-9703 or 703-608-1203. And don't forget to watch Skills to Pay the Bills.
Welcome back. You're watching Skills to Pay the Bills and today's segment of The Real Secrets of Money with our co-host, Ms. Shirley Luu, Executive Field Chairman with First Financial Security, Inc., and special guest, Ms. Dorothy Smith. Shirley, I want to move to another topic because now we've heard about term. You know, that's something that is out there and it is available for those people who want that, and maybe they're at a certain point in their life where that's what they can afford. So now let's move to the Index Universal Life, because that's become quite popular.
Yes, absolutely. The Index Universal Life, what's really make unique about it is, just to start, you know, most folks out have what's called old kind of life insurance. Term, whole life, universal life, and variable life. You know, when the market goes up, you can make money, market goes down, you lose its money. So those are what's considered old traditional products. Well, this Index Universal Life is a brand new product that has just came out. And what it does is that, so I can take an old policy that I've been paying $100 a month there, and move it over the Index Universal Life, where it does give the death benefit just like the old life. It does have a little cash value just like the old life, but now it becomes more than that. It becomes, again, continued permanent policy, and here's the beautiful part. If the market goes up, the client money goes up. If the market goes down, they do a lockdown. There are no losses to it.
That's right.
And even if it's worst case, market never make a dime, this policy still give you a guarantee rate of return.
Wow.
Absolutely.
That is fantastic.
Yeah. So because of the upside gain with no downside risk, it now allows my client to participate putting this in as a retirement where they can have money for life, tax-free if you structure properly. And so all these uniqueness are coming out for it, plus all the living benefits from the term that I talk about. It has that.
You said tax-free?
Tax-free, yes.
But it has to be structured in a certain way?
Well, you got to fund it the right way, and then how it becomes tax-free is you come in there, you take as a loan feature out of the policy, and loans are not considered taxable, and that's how you get tax-free.
Well, what about, so there's cash value building up,
Yes.
in addition to you having a face value amount, a death benefit amount. Can the cash value be used for anything, or, you know, are you limited?
Anything at all, and that's the beautiful part about it.
Child's college tuition?
Anything at all, and the other uniqueness about this policy is that for the first time in history, a life insurance plan that comes out with a guaranteed lifetime income. Never heard of it before, right?
Well, let me go back a little bit. Let's say we're going back to me having the term policy. Can I convert that term policy into an IUL? Or how does that work?
It could, again, you got to be qualified, like anything else.
Health-wise, that means
health-wise.
health.
And then the other
Right.
things, please, because one of the things you're comparing apple and oranges, because the other one's just a death benefit. So with this, the cost probably is a little bit more, you know, but you'll get much more benefit to it.
Right.
As well.
Well, let's get even a little deeper. Let's say you got a family of four, a husband, a wife, and 2 children. Maybe the kids are like 10, and maybe somebody is 16, almost ready. Well, no, let's make them 10 and 12.
Okay.
What would you structure for a family like that?
Well, one of the things.
Let's say they make a combined income of, let's say, $60,000.
Okay. All right. Well, first of all, if it's combined income of 60,000, you really probably have to do a lot of looking at the family finances.
Okay.
The first thing is that, and then the second thing is, do they have a mortgage? 'Cause
So is
that's
that what you call suitability, or is that?
Yeah, because you know, I mean, if someone making $60,000 and they've already got a mortgage of, you know, $500,000, you're looking at, I hope you have enough money to pay for your mortgage, you
Right.
know, let alone think about life.
So you just don't go in and just sell people anything just to make a sale. You sit down with them, just like their friend, and work them through the system. That's good.
And then the index UL, the way I sell it or advise clients is that I would say, well, Tia, how young are you? You know, that's the first thing. And how young would you like to be retired? So you would give me a certain age. I'd like to retire 50, some say 65, 70. And the next 2 questions is, well, how much money would you like to have as monthly income, right? So now I have a benchmark how to aim for what you're looking for. Does that make sense?
Okay.
And then the last question is, some people said, I want $1 million a year. Well, how much can you save aside today if you want to get $1 million?
Right.
So all those factors plays into the retirement plan. And the client has to be honest with me, tell me what they could afford,
Right.
and then what the budget is.
So the important thing to me here is that you're sitting down, really coming up with a financial plan, something that they can build a portfolio based upon their, you know, what they can afford. Now, what do you do in cases where there is a husband and wife and they're not sitting at the table together? Is that a bad thing? I would think that that's not good, that you need them both there.
I usually try, to be honest with you, I would tell the husband or wife, I won't go out there unless husband and wife sitting there.
Right.
Unless the wife and the husband said, no, we have separate finances. I don't want her to know about my finance, and she don't want to. And we have cases like that.
Wow.
Well, yeah,
that gets a little touchy there.
Well, we have cases where the husband said, do not tell my wife that I bought this policy. Do not tell my wife who's the beneficiary is. Do not, you know. And I'm sitting there delivering the policies like he would usher the wife elsewhere, and she would do the same thing with him.
Wow.
I know. Talk about trust.
Oh no. Well, that brings something else to mind. Shirley, do you give out, you know, legal advice or accounting advice in your field?
No, usually that's not my field of specialty. I would ask them to go to a tax advisor.
Right.
Talk about when it comes to tax implication, things like that. However, my job is to inform you that if you got money, you're losing money, you need to protect that money. And how do you protect that money?
Right, and that's what's important. Wow, that's great. Well, now let's move to this super colossal event that's coming up on April 27th. Tell us, what is Super Saturday?
Well, this one, we're calling it the Wealth Empowerment Seminar.
The Wealth Empowerment?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And the wealth empowerment is really to gather professional folks and even individual companies. It doesn't matter who they are, where they come from, because everybody needs to understand about finance. You know, how to safeguard money from losses, how to can get guaranteed lifetime income, and how do you make sure you have money to last for a lifetime. Wow. That's what the seminar is about. And at the same time, the opportunity itself is to reach out to those folks out there to do inform opportunities, you know, of our companies, what we do, and if they'd like to come on board and just, you know, spread that same message and be on the crusade for the Luu dynasty and spread the word of, you know, how to safeguard your future.
Are you going to have some cool speakers there?
You know what? I have some amazing, amazing speakers.
I think we still got a little time. So tell us a little bit about some of the cool speakers you're going to have.
Here's the problem I have. Because the event, we're looking at 500 folks that'll come in.
Wow, 500?
Yeah, 500 folks, and people literally flying in from Tennessee, Atlanta, Michigan. And you know, Tia, I could never understand it. I can't even get the people across the bridge in Maryland, Cabin John or Woodbridge, come to Virginia. And yet, I have people paying airfare and hotel. What do you think, Dorothy? You know?
It's just amazing.
Go figure. That's right.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah, you
go figure.
I know, and so go figure. So we have vice president of insurance company come in. We have president coming in. As a matter of fact, our CEO chairman, we're trying to rearrange the schedule to make an appearance there as well. Now these guys are very, very busy. We have potentially an author, that possibility written over 30-something books. Wow. He's done presidential advisor to other presidents. When this man appears at meetings and at other places as a speaker, it's cost about 20 grand for him to just make an appearance. And so it looks like he's coming. So it would be such a fun event, and it's a learn. It's just, and we have EFC chairman are flying in from Bob Rutherford.
Oh my goodness.
Coming in, Michael Harden and Phil Gallagher. So.
And so it's going to be held where?
It's going to be at the Silver Spring the Sheraton Hotel, and it's going to be on April the 27th, and it's from 9 to 12 for guests, and then from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock we have training for the team.
Oh, that sounds like a fantastic event. I know you're excited, and look at her face. It's just all lighted up. She's all ready for it.
Oh, she's inviting a ton of folks right now.
Well, we are out of time. Shirley, I want to thank you, and Dorothy, thank you so much for sharing with us all this great information about term insurance and living benefits, and also about giving us some of the advantages of owning Index Universal Life products. If you have any questions or comments about our show, Skills to Pay the Bills, please contact me. I'm Tia Young, your host, at skillstorock@gmail.com. Or if you have any specific questions about today's segment of The Real Secrets of Money, please contact Shirley Luu at LuDynasty@gmail.com. I'm going to see you real soon. Bye-bye.